Hello and welcome to another episode of SoFly. It is October 12th, to be exact. And
Yep, correct.
correct, October 12th. This episode comes out on the 15th. Hello, thank you for listening to another show. Today, we've got myself, Mitch. We've got Yilma.
Hi.
We've got Aldo.
That's me.
And we've got Joel.
Hello.
Joel, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you.
It's good to see you. Good to see you. Very, very good to see you. And good to see all of y'all, because y'all are out in y'all are out in beautiful British Columbia right now. And of course, that's what we're gonna be talking about on the show today, because we, and by we I mean you three, have done a trip out to BC. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see Yilma's amazing Fishing BC hat. Aldo, what are the deets surrounding this trip?
Holy moly. Well, actually, Joel moved to Squamish in 2019, correct?
That is correct.
Shortly after our Indiana trip,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, totally.
And he moved to Squamish, which is like one of the most beautiful towns you could possibly live in on Earth, or definitely in Canada. And which Squamish is about an hour north of Vancouver, for everybody listening. And he got here and at that time was kind of a novice fly angler, but has since turned into a mega pro and also is a pro shooter. But quickly got obsessed with the salmon run around here. At this time of year, the coho are running, and in the winter and the summer, they got a steelhead run and pink salmon and all that good stuff. And he's been like, you guys have got to come out here. But then guess what happened? COVID happened. So, this was the first opportunity to come back. And since then, Joel's been working, doing a lot of shooting with an organization called Fishing BC, which helps market just like the angling community here in BC, not only on the coast.
Just all the different fisheries.
Yeah. So like the coastal fisheries, the interior fisheries.
Yeah.
In the Rockies. So like we're talking about trout fishing, we're talking about salmon fishing, and he convinced Matt at Fishing BC to fly us out there, and that's what set up the trip. We were here for 5 days shooting with Fishing BC and Joel, and living at his house. I'm in his house. This is his house.
Awesome.
Finally,
Look at that.
thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming.
Do you mind turning Joel up just a hair?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so you guys are out in British Columbia fishing, and Yilma, you've been talking about wanting to go to BC now since we met, and this is the first time we've actually made it out there. How's your experience been?
Great. Just kidding.
Thank you for
It's
listening to
been
another
amazing.
episode of SoFly. Have a fantastic
kidding.
day.
Just kidding.
Thank you for another episode. Well, first impressions when you landed in the beautiful province.
I was blown away. Well, Aldo and I were very happy. Once we landed, we're just always happy when we fly together. And I don't know. I mean, as soon as Joel picked us up, I'm like, okay, cool. Get in the car, airport, and nothing's that different. And then all of a sudden, it just opens up, and there's like mountains, and like it just was amazing right away. And it's I feel so ignorant because I know Canada, I know how beautiful it is, but I've only been on the East Coast. Been everywhere on the East Coast, and I've been in Ontario, Quebec, Manitoba, not Saskatchewan, Alberta, but not BC. And for someone who fly fishes and someone who loves doing what I do, to be here and see exactly what I've always dreamt of seeing. It is the Mecca. It is beautiful, and it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The sea to sky is ridiculous. I think all those beside
Sea
me.
to sky.
Yeah, it's the highway. And I look
What is
behind
this?
and I go to Aldo and I'm like, is this Avatar? Because like all the islands are like right there. Yeah, and it was
What's sea to sky? You said it's the highway there?
Sort of a nickname. Well,
Yeah.
it's an official nickname for the Highway 99, which goes from Vancouver north up the coast. So
That's cool.
Squamish, Whistler, Pemberton.
Right, from the sea to the top of the mountains. That's cool.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
That was my first time. Actually, I remarked on that today because we actually we'll probably get to it, but we had to drop off some stuff for Yilma in Vancouver today. But I was just kind of looking at because the ocean goes all the way to Squamish, and it's a sound, and I was like, that's the first. I was like, you know what? I've never seen a sound before, like a fjord. And,
Space
and because the mountains go right to the sea.
Right. Oh, cool.
And that's where Squamish is, and where House Sound is. And if anybody's a craft beer drinker in Canada, that's one of the best breweries in Canada, House Sound Brewing. So
House Sound.
House Sound.
House Sound. Man, you guys are
House
dropping.
House Sound.
You guys are dropping
Also
a lot of
badass
terms.
name.
Dropping a lot of terms on me right now. House
They are
sounds and
full
sea to
West Coast
sky.
boys
And,
now. Yeah.
yeah, good lord. So wait, it's called an ow sound.
Oh my God. How
H-O-W-E. Like Gordie Howe.
sound?
Is he saying house or house?
It's the name of the
cool.
brewery, Mitch.
That's cool. But you say that thing is like the mountain goes to the sea, and that's what that thing is, like a fjordy kind of.
It's like a bay in the ocean that ends in
Wow.
like a fjord.
It ends at the Squamish River.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow, cool. So okay, so
Or
Squamish
begins
is.
at the Squamish River, however you want to look at it.
Oh yeah, that's very nice.
Oh, shit.
Okay, cool. Okay, so lots of things going on here.
Lots of things going on. It's sensory overload at this point because Yilma and I, our flight was at 6 a.m. Toronto time, Eastern
Yeah.
Standard Time. So we were up at like 3:30. Yilma picked me up in an Uber at 3:45. We get to the airport, very smooth check-in,
Yeah.
very smooth.
Oh, excellent.
Domestic flying.
And
Right.
you know, we were there before the Starbucks opened.
Hi, Joel.
And right, Yilma? And then we got some
can't do that.
snacks, and you know, it was
Yes.
It's not really much of a whistler.
and yeah, we got on the plane. Everything was really smooth. The flights, it was really, really quick.
Mitch,
Oh,
let
I
me
like
just
that
say,
joke.
like
Oh.
I have
Yilma's laughing with the delay. He like laughed 10 seconds later. Oh man.
Mitch, as you know, I've had the good fortune of traveling with all of you guys quite a bit.
Yeah.
This is the wackiest I've ever seen these two gentlemen.
Yeah.
They were a little wacky.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
About 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna make it.
They're all out of sorts. I love it. These rapscallions, huh? Traveling out west, all time zone difference and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So that was we were definitely the time zone change was crazy, but we got there at like 10 a.m. so we had a full day. We landed and immediately went to the fly shop. We went to High Water Tackle.
Yep.
Right? Fly and
That's
Tackle.
right. Yeah. High water tackle.
And
North Van.
we went to
North Vancouver.
Yeah, in North Vancouver, and Jill at the shop was awesome, and was just like showing us, talking us through like what flies we should be using for the coho, and we got them a lot of them right in front of us right here.
I think.
Which
this
like,
was-
what do you think, Mitch? A coho fly looks like?
yeah, good question.
I imagine that it would be kind of like a big intrudery kind of, fluffy pattern that would really like a big fly.
Wrong.
Okay, come on now. Show me what this looks like. And watch this on YouTube because you can see exactly what we're showing right now, which is this. What the heck is that tiny
What are
little...
these called, Joel?
I believe that's called a coho killer.
Jeez, it looks like a sunfish fly, like a rock bass fly or something, like a small
it looks-
panfish.
It looks like a woolly bugger cone head with. I'm describing this if you're not looking at this on YouTube.
Yeah.
It looks like a chartreuse woolly bugger, and I was like, "That's what coho eat." And
The
like,
Christmas trees are popular too. These guys. That's a bigger one.
Wow, that fly is so weird. What is it about? Why that fly? Like, why does the coho like that fly? Does anyone know, or is it just kind of like, I don't know?
Question. I think it annoys the heck out of them.
Yeah, it's just like that color pisses them off, that moves the water, makes them mad, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, I think it's just the flash and the instinctual bite when they
Yeah.
see something flip by that's bright and shiny and ooh, shiny.
yeah,
Gotta eat it.
shiny. Ooh, piece of
Yeah.
candy. Yeah, because of course these fish, when they're returning in the rivers, are not thinking about eating; they're just thinking about making love.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going up the rivers, and you're just trying to piss them off.
Cool.
But that was my first like whoa kind of moment, because I always love. It's always nice to go to a new town and go to a fly shop and
Yeah.
learn from the people that do it every day, right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what you should be doing.
I don't know if
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is off topic, but these can you see that, Mitch?
Okay, so a tiny little fly with just some flash kind of wrap and a
Kind
flashy
of again,
tail.
it pretty much looks like a woolly bugger.
A
This
small woolly bugger, yeah.
Yeah, like 40
so
kilometers south of here. This
Yeah.
is the main fly, like on the Capilano River for coho in the summer.
It's
And then
so
you
small.
Come up here and you're like, this is what you're fishing.
Bigger.
Like same
Okay.
fish.
Yeah.
but 40 kilometers north. And
Wow,
season.
that's so cool. Yeah, I didn't expect salmon flies to be like that, but
Yeah.
I guess I have this idea in my head of salmon flies. I just think Atlantic salmon flies. Those classic big, beautiful patterns. I'm like, well, cohos, why not? But I guess that makes sense. So you go to the fly shop, you ask them for the intel. They show you these wacky flies. What are you thinking, Aldo? You're like, oh, this is what we're doing, like fishing these little buggers.
I just thought it was neat. Like
Yeah.
like I said, I wasn't expecting
Yeah.
the flies at the fly shop. Yeah, no, the fly shop was beautiful. They had those gorgeous like wood carved nets that like if I was a little more affluent would probably have dropped $400 on because they were really like a work of art. Like Mitch, you would have loved them.
Oh yeah,
Lovely.
oh, that's cool. Okay, so you gear up at the fly shop, and what do you do next? Where do you go? What happens?
Breakfast.
Ooh,
It's only 10 a.m. for like
Right.
Pacific time now. So
right.
hey Yilma, we got some brunch.
Yes, we did. I don't know. I know my internet's bad, so I just want to be prompted and then I'll speak. I don't
No,
wanna
for
ruin
sure.
this.
I think I was thinking that too, but I think it's caught up. So I think we're
We're good
better
now.
Yeah.
I think we're good now. But yeah, Yellow, what'd you get for breakfast, huh? The listeners demand to know.
Refresh my memory, Aldo, and I will tell you.
I think you had avocado like toast.
I had avocado toast.
Oh, okay.
You got pork cheek.
Oh yes, I got pork cheek. Yes. Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, it was so good. It was so delicious. Hey man, this trip was ridiculous. I don't care. Like I don't know what to say. Like, everything is gonna be like amazing. And there's this one morning when we get to that, and I will talk about how Aldo was so zany. I've never seen him like this, and I like loved it. It was hilarious. But we'll get to that.
It was real good.
I was full jet lag, cuckoo bananas. Yeah, we got breakfast, right, Joel, and then that's when we hit the road and saw the Sea to Sky Highway for the first time. For people that don't know, 2010 Vancouver hosted the Olympic Winter Games, and this used to be a pretty gnarly highway before that, and they revamped the highway, and it's quite beautiful and new, and it's you're following the coast. It's windy, it's beautiful. It's like I've done the drive from LA to San Fran, and like this is just as if not more beautiful because like you see the ocean, you see all these little streams, you see all the mountain peaks, and they just got more rugged as the closer you get to Squamish. And Squamish really is just like, I don't know, Yilma, like what did you think? Like you got in here and it's just like you're in this little town surrounded by vaulted mountains.
Yeah, exactly. I as soon as you're just engulfed in mountains. That's really all it is. It's like it's like if Halliburton or Muskoka or the Kawarthas was surrounded by mountains. That's what like every house feels like a little cottage or cabin.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Wow.
Yeah. The West Coast is looks like a
You know
beautiful
what
place, and
you know what it is?
What's that?
BC makes you feel small, and I think that's what's so beautiful about it. You know, it just makes you feel small.
Yeah.
Huh.
Totally.
Beautiful.
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 Yeah, so then we, get to Joel's. We do some grocery shopping. We do the regular stuff, and then we were setting up the reels. Like, thanks to our friends at Reddington, Ethan and Clay, they sent us some awesome two-handed Claymore rods, and so we had to get to spooling. It seems to be the modus operandi for these trips is like get to a place and put 300 yards of backing on a reel. And because Joel was like, yeah, we've got, we're just going to go fish basically in my backyard. Yeah, Joel, like, where's your house?
Like,
You're like, explain yourself.
Squamish
Because
is sort of
it's incredible.
Yeah, Squamish is sort of this weird amalgamation of different neighborhoods that kind of grew over time, and we're in what's called Brackendale, which I guess was its own little town railway stop at a time, but now it's become part of Squamish. And we're right on Squamish River. We could walk through the backyard, and you hit a little trail across the stream, and then there's the big bend in the river. Just south of what's called Fisherman's Park. So Fisherman's is sort of like the go-to, like if you're coming to Squamish for the day. Sorry.
Yeah.
Better. If you're coming to Squamish for the day and you don't know it, you're going to Google Squamish fishing and see Fisherman's Park. There's a parking lot and a walk-in. But then what a lot of people don't know is that about 600 or 700 meters downstream around the bend is where I am. And it's sort of really brady in a big corner. It's a lovely spot to fish. There's a lot to fish there, depending on the water levels. And like, I guess both of you saw that, but Aldo saw even more so because the water was down. That there's just many channels to fish in that one bend of the river. I can't really even describe to you much like how big it is.
It's big.
Like there's a lot there.
A lot of water, and you get like it's like the salmon, and there's trout in there and stuff.
There's trout in there. There's trout in there year round.
Yeah,
and then the salmon runs are sort of staggered throughout the fall. Usually beginning, I mean, we'll get into this, but normally this would be like an amazing time of year to be here for you guys. Pinks come every 2 years. So on, I guess what year is that? Yeah, odd years they come. So last year,
That's so interesting.
Yeah, you were catching pinks last year. Yeah,
yeah. So they hit the mainland, like this part of the mainland anyway, every odd year.
They come on odd years, eh? That's so weird. I guess just how it worked out. I don't know.
Yeah, but then on the island, like a 40-minute ferry ride away, they come on even years. So this year, Jen and I went to Campbell River and had a heyday just catching tons of pink salmon.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when you moved out there, you were posting photos and on Instagram of all the pinks you were catching, and I was just like,
took me 2 years to land my first salmon out here. I was hooking up, but I couldn't land them.
And the water you were fishing then was the water behind your house.
Not necessarily. I fished that during salmon season for sure, but like through COVID, like the worst part of the lockdowns out here. I mean, all I had to do was drive around because I didn't have any real friends out here, and we couldn't see each other anyway, even if we did. So it was a lot of exploring up the valley, and a lot of great bull trout fishing up the valley.
That's so cool. I mean, but so even just the fact that you can step at your back door of your house there, and
I'm
be on
100%
fishable, beautiful. Because the pictures I saw, and I was like, oh yeah, although you posted that story where you were just like, F you, Joel, and it was just like the most beautiful backyard of all time.
It's wild.
Yeah,
he did say that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like
you,
it's such a cool like backyard to have. It's really, really cool.
Super lucky.
Yeah. I'll echo Yilma's sentiment. I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to BC geography, so I was like, we were seeing we get to the river and just seeing salmon roll already. I think Joel brought this up, but it should be noted that unfortunately there's a pretty epic drought happening in BC right now. It's like weeks, almost months without rain. Which if you know anything about the Pacific Northwest, it's all about.
It's a rainy place.
Or I guess it's the Pacific Northwest for Americans, but it's the West Coast for us.
Yeah.
And it's rainy. It's a rainforest. It's wet, and especially at this time of year, it's supposed to be really rainy, and a little bit colder. And the first thing we saw when we got to the river is the river was what I would call blown out, or at least silty and stained, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not from the rain. It's not from runoff. It's from a different type of runoff. It's from it's so hot that the glaciers are melting, in the glaciers there's silt, and the silt gets in the river, and the river was like, although
washed out.
When we got there, we did see salmon roll, which Joel was saying that he hadn't seen yet this year, and so he was amped. Hey, Yilma, like it just felt like stuff was happening.
Yeah, I had pre-fished hard in anticipation of your arrival, and that like it seemed like a really good sign. When we were like, well, let's just walk down to the river. We had new rods to cast, and 5 minutes later there was fish rolling and jumping everywhere.
Oh man,
so that was our first impression.
Very excited.
Yeah. You were like, oh, it's on. We're gonna catch salmon. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, but like Aldo said, it's like you're standing in a 8 inches of water and you can't see your toes. So
so they can't see the fly. Even the fish that did make it into the river, they can't see anything. Yeah.
Exactly.
So basically, there was some fish in the river, but there was a ton of fish that couldn't get in the river or got stuck.
Or
that kind of
waiting.
thing.
They're just waiting. They're like at the mouth, being
they're
like,
holding.
Kind of thing, like biding their time. But I'm sure some of them are just like, well, this is my one and only time to have sex, so I'm going now.
And they get up the river, and they go for it.
And so that was interesting. And then, but it was a beautiful night, and Yilma, remember the moon?
Oh yeah. Although the moon was, because of how clear the sky was the entire week, we saw the moon at the same size every day that we were fishing.
That's cool.
So like, yeah, I know it's an optical illusion. The moon is not actually bigger whenever we see it, but when it's closer to, the mountains, it looks, just by scale, it looks that much bigger optically. And it's and it's gorgeous. And okay. So Mitch, if you just imagine, it's all
Just
to
imagine
myself. Just imagine.
Close your eyes.
Yeah.
Can you just
Close
imagine
your
for me for a
eyes.
second?
I'm in imagination land, baby.
Imagination land. And so it's Aldo, myself, and Joel. And then Aldo's over there, and I'm low holding Aldo because fuck him. And
Do you mind if I'm just gonna hop in right here?
can I just? And he points over. He's like, "Yilma, look, it's the salmon moon." We called it the salmon moon. We looked over, and it's just creeping. The big round white thing is just creeping behind the mountains, and it's just
wow.
Yeah, it's majestic. And we tried to send you a photo,
yeah.
but it's not going to look the same in the photo.
It doesn't translate. I know. I
doesn't
totally get
translate.
it. I get it. So it's just like one of those screensaver moments, where you're like, wow, that's like a screensaver. It's like, there it is. Yeah.
Wow, how
cool.
Windows 95 of you.
Yeah. Hey, look at that Windows desktop background. Wow. It's crazy, man.
But it was crazy, and and then we could see at the end of the run.
Yeah.
You have to remind yourself. You're like, oh yeah, I'm in town.
Yeah.
There's a pub at the end of like the run,
Ugh.
and we went back home and took our waders off. But you
Sure.
could swing the run and then go get dinner at the end of it.
100%.
Like it's
Oh,
right
man.
at
Would not
the
be the
end,
only
it's
person
right,
in
and it
waders
overlooks the
bar.
whole valley. The patio is just
That's awesome.
super friendly server, like super.
Oh yeah, she was great.
So it's a great little pub. What's it called? What's the pub called?
Called The Watershed.
Oh, shout out to the
You've ever seen the
Watershed.
show Virgin River on Netflix?
Oh my God, is it filmed there?
That's where they filmed.
Oh
the
my God,
pub
that's so funny you
scenes.
said that because I sent a picture to my sister, and she's like, "Wow, Virgin River vibes," and now I'm gonna
It
tell her
is
that.
yeah,
My God, that's
literally
hilarious.
filmed.
What? That's awesome.
She called it.
Like whenever they're in their like shooting cycle, it's like because to get to the main road, like when we go down to anywhere, you have to
Yeah.
drive past it, as you guys probably remember, and there'll be just like a huge gaff truck and like
Oh,
a
that's
crane with
hilarious.
a light.
I'm
over
gonna
it,
tell her
like,
that. That's
hanging
so
over,
funny.
Be like
Shooting the show, yeah.
shooting the
That's
show
funny.
from
Shout out to
4 a.m.
Michaela.
till 8 a.m. kind of thing.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I love that.
she-
Okay, wait. Let me just recap kind of the day, just so that we're on track here.
Oh, a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
happened. Day one was a lot.
It was a lot.
I want to make sure that people
rest of the
listening
days are
can
slightly
follow with
simpler.
me as well, because I wasn't there. I don't really know. So you guys landed at like 10, basically. Got breakfast, went to the fly shop. Doesn't and then you took that highway, and you're like, this is one hell of a highway. Got to Squamish, saw Joel's sweet pad where he moved to recently, and you're like, wow, Joel, this is awesome. And he's like, wait till you see the backyard. And it's like
think that actually
beautiful
happened.
river, mountains, all that jazz. Fish, see salmon. You're like, this is gonna be crazy. Moon comes out from the thing, and then at the end, he's like, and there's a pub, and you're like, and then he's like, and that's where they filmed that show, and you're like, that's a good first day. That's a great first
When
day.
you put it this way, man.
It was a great first. Yeah, when you put it that way, that's exactly what happened.
That's a good day.
Oh, and then we met his dog.
Oh yeah.
Right, your dog, yeah. Yeah, you got
Willow dog.
you got a nice pooch there, Willa, yeah.
You
The
Beautiful
GSP.
dog.
Yeah.
It's a little sweetheart.
Kind of feels like another fishing celebrity, like we met Juniper recently, Kayla and Casey's dog, and I've seen thousands of photos of Junie on social. I've seen a lot of photos of Willa. Kind of feels like that. It's like, oh, finally meeting, in person. It's
Finally
cool.
meeting.
Yeah, I was nervous.
Yeah,
She's
I know.
not fishing yet. She's a little too
Um,
excited to fish.
Is she gonna like me? All that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's cool,
She
man.
definitely likes Aldo and Yilma.
We had a-
Okay, so that's a great first day. So then you
Yep.
went back to the house and popped a couple tops, and
we
that was it.
No, we went to the pub and had dinner.
Oh, so you did go to the pub. Great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we dropped the stuff off and walked there. Which the walk was kind of interesting because there was like mounds and mounds of bear poo everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's like,
yeah?
oh, there's bears everywhere.
Like black bears.
Black bears, yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
black bears.
What is the grizzly sitch out where you guys were fishing?
Not anywhere really
Not too
that
bad.
we were.
That's good.
Mitchie's got Montana PTSD.
Yeah. I just want to know how Yilma was gonna react if you guys are like, it was like Montana where every gas station you go to, they're like, I wouldn't go there, but if you do, bring 16 cans of bear spray.
Yeah.
I think you, no
not
offense,
that
bud.
bad.
I think you're the new Yilma when it comes to bears.
I
Yilma's
am.
good. Yilma's
I've
got
taken
ice
that
running.
title.
Yilma's got ice running through his veins now after so many trips in Temagami.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, true.
Except
that.
for when he had a leaf fall in the woods and he freaked out. But other than that,
I couldn't stop laughing. Oh my god! Because
he like
all those. I'm still laughing.
we'll get. Well, actually, that's a good segue to day 2. Actually,
Yeah.
Okay, it's day 2.
Day 2, we started bright and early. Dark and early.
dark and early. Yeah.
Dark and early. Yeah.
So
What time did you hit it?
The coho bite is typically a morning bite. Like, it can be really good first thing in the morning. So we went out for that. And also we were shooting lots of photos and videos, so we wanted to get out early for the nice light. So we did.
So the
Yeah,
coho.
one thing. Sorry, Mitch. One thing to remember
Yeah.
too, like we're in a valley surrounded by mountains, right? So sunrise isn't actually sunrise,
Right.
No,
right? Like
gets
it's
dark
like
later.
it's like sunrise has to go over the mountain. So
right.
Yeah.
so the darkness.
Dark and early at 7 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
Yeah,
it's still dark.
So it's like
So-
the sun is up, the sky is light, but the sun hasn't crested over the mountains yet,
Yeah.
so you don't
Right.
have full light. Yeah,
You haven't had full crest at that point.
it's not full crest.
Question for you. You said the coho fishing is usually the bite's better in the morning. These fish are like why? Like what's that about?
I don't know. It's a good. I think they're very light sensitive, from what I understand. I mean,
Oh,
there's
okay.
probably coho fishermen out there like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But then I also know coho fishermen who are like, yeah, if the sun's
Right,
not
right.
shining, you're not going to catch coho.
I gotcha. Yeah. So it's the
But
technique
then
you were like,
also
let's
it's
do
like-
that.
A lot of people will say like when the light first comes over the mountain and like bam, the lights turn on in the water, basically like direct sunlight on the river, then they start
Right.
to go. Any fish that's holding is going to start moving at that point.
Gotcha.
That's what
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah, and then they're just like totally not interested in hitting anything because they're just like, got to get to my birthplace.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, it's interesting.
So that morning we fished the. Yelma learned
Very important word.
an important word this morning.
Another new term. What do we
I
got?
have to tell the public about.
He doesn't.
Why not?
I don't know. I should have known.
What's the word?
Because I don't. It's
that's
confluence.
Oh, you don't have to know that word. Confluence. I mean,
Yeah,
why would you know that word?
We don't fish confluences of rivers.
Yeah,
Normally.
I guess not. Anyways, yeah, I did learn confluence.
That's good.
And I remembered it by the two words, conference and affluence. And that's how I remembered the word.
There you go.
Okay, well, you didn't have to say that part. Maybe that's the part.
Maybe that's the part you don't want to tell people, dude.
There's
Yilma,
no
what's
way
a
I was going to
confluence?
remember that word. There's no way. I mean,
What is a
happened.
confluence, Yilma?
A confluence when
Some people might not know.
two different rivers meet.
Imagine if he had the term, like, had the definition wrong too.
Yeah.
He thought it was like something else. That'd be
It's
awesome.
when you bake a cookie at less than 200 degrees. We were on the.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, Joel, where were we? I'm going to butcher the names.
Yeah, do we want to use names? It doesn't really matter.
The confluence of two rivers.
The Mamquam and the
That's
Squamish.
correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And the Mamquam's like crystal clear.
Oh yeah.
And, right?
Part of the reason we went there, yeah.
Right. Why is it clear and the Squamish not?
It's above my pay grade, dude. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder.
Well,
Because
you
it's
know
funny,
what?
right?
If
You
you're
think they would
lis-
all.
If you're listening to this show, email us info@sofly.ca
Let me know why.
and
Yeah.
tell us why, because we don't know. And I'm going to have to guess it's because my best educated guess would be that the Mamquam is not as glacier affected as the Squamish.
Right.
Because how else would you get silt when there hasn't been rain in 7 weeks?
Right.
So
Yeah.
that would be probably my best educated guess. But again, I don't know. I didn't even know where the
Well,
fuck
let us know.
Squamish
We've got
was. So.
got lots of BC listeners, so you guys let us know. But you guys went there because the river was clear. You're like, well, that's a better guess.
So we went to hit that seam where the clear water is kind of moving into the silty Squamish. So you get like a really long seam running down the bank of the Squamish. And like,
Yep.
you know that there is a run of Mamquam salmon that are coming up the Squamish that are going to make a right and go up the Mamquam eventually. So the idea is to kind of like head them off and get a fly in front of them in that slightly clearer water when they're making the turn up into the Mamquam.
Cool.
But yeah. I mean, Spoiler alert, that didn't happen. Unfortunately,
We should spoil alert this whole thing. We did not catch this salmon.
we did not find
And
the
so this is where you guys start realizing, oh, this drought thing is like a big deal.
Yeah.
But
Right.
honestly, like the night before we got there, Yilma, and there were fish rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And we
know,
got-
go on.
Okay, so?
No, I was just saying, the fact that they turned on when we were there, we were just like, yeah, we're gonna catch. So
Yeah, like day one, like moment zero.
Yeah, and we got 3 rods in the water. And
Yeah.
I was like, there's a very high likelihood of one of us hooking up. But
Because you got to remember, we're like 3 kilometers from the ocean. Like these fish are pushing. So if they're there,
Yeah.
they're there for not very long. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like Great Lakes steelhead thing or whatever. Like they're not. It's not the winter. They're not holding.
It's a small window.
They're pushing. So if you see them, they're not going to be there for very long. It's not like they're going to be there the whole day. Like they're
Right.
they're moving
Really?
through. And with how little fish were in the river, your window's even smaller.
Yeah.
With even
Right.
less
and
individuals.
you're competing
in the
with
river.
seals and all that.
Oh yeah, we saw seals.
Just swimming upriver.
yeah,
Yeah.
eating the
Fucking
salmon.
huge seals.
Huge.
That's so cool. Really? I didn't look. I saw the
Yeah,
pictures that you guys were sending. I was like, but I didn't really think about the fact that these seals come from the ocean, and just swim upriver.
They're
Yeah.
chasing runs of salmon.
They just chase
That's so
them.
cool,
Bro. They're
Wow.
probably the size of your couch.
They're big.
They're huge.
Wow. So if you see a seal, though, that's a good sign. You're like, oh, there's probably salmon around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were saw them blowing up on salmon, like
Oh, yeah.
eating
Wow.
them.
That's cool. So they were eating the few fish that were going
Exactly.
through at that moment, right? Okay.
Like I think
Yeah.
what I'm imagining though is that like it's
Yeah.
not a small that was not a small push. That was probably an average push of salmon. But we
Gotcha.
just don't like in a better time of year, you'll get a few of those in one session of sitting at the river for a couple hours. You'll see 1 or 2 of those pushes come through, but this is like right now we're getting maybe like 1 to 2 pushes a day.
Okay. Okay.
Like it's just
Okay.
a low.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
I
not
gotcha.
happening as frequently as it would normally this time of year.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Well, so that, although beautiful, that river for you guys was a bust. You were just
Yeah.
like, shit, we didn't hook up.
Well, yeah, and then again, remember, like the water's like maybe 6 inches of viz.
Yeah.
So there's a lot working against us here.
Yeah.
So what little fish are in the water can't see our flies.
Oh, I thought you said this river was really clear.
No, sorry. So we were fishing the confluence.
Okay, here we
So
go.
we're
Nice
fishing the
callback.
seam,
Yeah.
right? And the seam
Oh,
we're
okay.
fishing is cloudy.
Okay.
So the Mamquam's clear, Squamish not clear. Fish are in the Squamish, trying to head off the fish that are maybe going to turn into the Mamquam.
Correct.
But
Okay.
there wasn't a whole lot of water in the Mamquam, so there wasn't a whole lot of fish turning into the Mamquam.
Okay. So bad viz too. Okay, I got
Yeah,
you.
so it's really like
Dang.
we found fish.
Yeah.
We're finding, Joel's definitely putting us in front of fish, but it's
Yeah.
just tough, it's tough
Yeah.
sledding.
Hey,
Also-
that's how it goes.
I'm not a fishing guide. That's not,
Hey, I mean, you were finding fish, and I think it sounds like the conditions were, not ideal in that sense. It was, that's the way it goes sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you show up and it's not, the conditions aren't ideal. So what did you do that day? You just kept on trying?
Kept on moving around.
Oh yeah, we had a nice adventure-full day. I think from there we had heard rumors of some fish being caught up Squamish Valley, which is cool because I wanted to show these guys the upper part of the valley because it's so beautiful. But I didn't really think it was worth that big drive because I figured there would be no way there would be fish up there already.
Right.
But then we had heard that one of the creeks up there had been some fish caught on flies. So I
Oh,
was like, okay, well, I know a little bit of that
Yeah.
creek, that river system. So we drove up and had a look around, and without getting into too much detail, I think we decided we could spend a lot of time exploring this water, or we could call it there and head back to spots we knew a little bit better, like more
Right.
local to me. And that's what we ended up doing, heading back to the Cheakamus River.
oh, cool.
Which I love. It's really beautiful and it's cool. It's a cool section of the Cheakamus is another river that flows into the Squamish upstream of where the Mamquam comes in. And the
Okay.
Check's cool because you can if you have two cars, especially, you can park one at one bridge and then walk the train tracks all the way down. You can make a full day of it for sure, and then pick up your other car at the bottom of that.
Yeah.
So the stretch of river. And there's a hatchery in that section, so there's generally fish holding between those two bridges. So we went and scoped out a couple spots.
Yeah, and started venturing in the forest. You remember that lush forest?
Oh, yes, I do.
So cool there.
It was gorgeous.
What's
It
that?
had
What's-
moss growing off the trees, like another movie, another Avatar 3.
Giant
Yeah,
ferns,
for
the
real.
size of the
Yeah.
ferns.
Wait,
could be in
what?
there.
What did you say, Aldo? Remind you what video game again?
No, it was Fern Gully.
Fern
Oh,
Gully.
yeah.
Yeah, it looked like Fern Gully.
Yeah, so it looked like
Or
Fern
Halo.
Gully.
Kind of looked like Halo.
Kind of-
Halo, like one of those, like the forest you'd expect to see when you're in BC in a way, right? Like the big cedars and the mossy trees and stuff like that.
Exactly. And there's little campgrounds
they're
too, which is
rain.
really nice.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that looked really cool. And then you'll remember the color of the water.
Oh yeah,
It was like
insane.
insane. Mitch, I sent you. Remember that I sent Mitch. I sent you the picture of like the
was like
water through
teal.
the trees. It was like sky.
Yeah. It was like tropical Bahamas looking weather,
Yeah.
water.
Mhm.
You know,
It
it was
was,
like
yeah.
teal blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then Aldo and I, we fished a couple of the pools. We weren't going to stay there too long because it just didn't look like we were gonna be successful. And then we were walking out of the river, and Aldo and I were walking side by side, and then there was a ruffle in the trees beside me, and of course I'm just like and then Aldo's like, what the fuck, and then. Yeah, it turned out to be a hilarious moment because I freaked out thinking it was a
This is
grizzly, but
not
it wasn't.
that place, but totally. You
Is it not?
It totally wrong. No.
Oh,
the
man.
first no
Oh, man.
different day.
no. That was
It's the same thing.
Chronological.
when Joel was saying we were going up the valley,
Sorry, I skipped.
Yeah.
I guess.
and we were no, it's fine, and it's okay. Yilma's also okay. You've got to swap places. Like Mitch, you've taken Yilma's bear fear,
Yeah.
and Yilma's taken your lack of memory for anything.
Yeah, it's perfect.
You
there
guys
you go.
have you're trading.
Enjoy,
you're
Yilma.
traded places.
Enjoy, Elma.
Definitely have to work on that. I don't know. I need to exercise this brain of mine.
Yeah. But
That's good.
that did happen. It was around lunch, like we were on that when we said we drove up the valley. Yeah, a leaf fell in the forest, and Yilma grabbed me like this, and it was just like and then I jumped, and then I was like, "Fuck Yilma!" It's freaking
I
me
mean,
out.
to be fair, we were up the valley. It's pretty wild up there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, it was pretty funny. It was a very funny moment. We had a good laugh.
It's like a
And
little
then-
cartoon.
But Yilma, no, the second part was like when we were fishing that big slow pool with the big granite rock in front of it,
Yeah.
and all the fish were jumping. That was the most
yes.
frustrated I've been on this
That
trip
was
for
so
sure.
frustrating.
Because there were a lot of fish. You
Yeah.
could, and again,
Salmon.
a lot of salmon, deep
Yeah.
pool, and they were just jumping all friggin' all over the place. And I know they're not rising,
Yeah.
but they're there. You
And
know
more
what I mean?
seals.
And you know that they're just there.
Yeah.
We ran into a really nice guy on the river, actually.
Yeah, he was cool.
Oh
He
yeah.
was cool. He was fishing a
Oh.
switch rod, and he
Yeah.
was catching some rainbows, and
Yeah, he was
that
fishing trout.
he looked like he was having a great time.
I like it.
Yeah, so that was cool. Oh, and then Yilma, remember we went up above. Remember that friggin' salmon
Oh yeah, I think I got that.
Oh
above,
my
above,
god!
above the tree?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So Joel's
this?
rolling on me for like a little interview, and halfway through the interview, Yilma, you tell the story.
Yeah, so we were walking down, and there's this big, giant tree in the middle of the river, cutting it into two, and right at the tip of that, I guess right at the tip of the log, I'm
Yeah.
swinging through, and this gigantic salmon. We couldn't tell exactly. Huge. I mean, 45 pounds, I would say.
Like 80 to 80 to 100 probably.
Sorry,
Like
45.
200-pound salmon,
Yeah.
easy. It was the size of a tarpon.
Probably
Mako shark.
probably 500 pounds, and it launched.
Okay.
Yeah, it just launched out
Like a
4 or 5
20-pound salmon.
times. Yeah,
Yeah.
20 pound salmon. But
It just started jumping out of the river.
yeah, like 3 or 4
freaking
times, and I'm freaking out. And yeah,
Wild.
Real big fish.
I don't know how you can't freak out. Like that was crazy.
It just
kept
kept jumping.
It just kept jumping for. And
Why? Well, I guess who knows? It's not like
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Like you can't ask the salmon. That's crazy.
Excuse me, sir. Why are you jumping?
Why do you like jumping so much?
But
But
This
not
just did-
eating. Yeah.
So what'd you do? Like you just watched this thing? Were you guys like, we gotta catch that thing? I mean, why would you?
like
Just
we
catch
freaked
casting
out.
shit.
We freaked out, and then we went and got sandwiches.
Yeah. We were like, this place is wild. Are you hungry too? Yeah, cool. Bye.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
hungry. Let's go get
We're like,
some
wow,
sandwiches."
that's crazy.
Let's
You
wrap
guys
it.
want a
Also,
Snickers
it was
bar,
like
or-
30 something degrees. Like we were
super hot.
baking because
That's
the
a-
water's cold, so you're wearing long johns and waders. It's just like we weren't
Right.
catching a lot of fish. I think we made the call to be like, let's wrap it up and then see if we can catch some fish maybe in the evening when it cools down. So
Yeah. That's another funny weird thing about this trip is the
Hot.
unseasonably hot weather. You know.
well, I remember you guys emailing me like, what should we bring? And I was like, oh my god, bring like
T-shirts?
all your rain gear. Bring a lot of like it'll be cold in the morning, but we didn't wear anything other than like t-shirts.
But the water was
Yeah.
cold. The water was cold. Like it's
Yeah.
glacial water, so
It's always cold there,
It was
yeah.
cold. Thank God it was cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The changing climate is not really great.
No.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then-
so you got some sandwiches, and then yeah, you
well, that
went
was
back out in
basically
that
day
evening.
2. That was day 2.
That's day
Well,
two.
no.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
else?
Sorry, Yilma. Yeah. True.
One more fish. That
Now
day.
you can tell the leaf story.
well, I mean, yeah, I caught
It's not the,
yeah.
No, it's not the leaf story.
No, what's this? What's this?
The leaf story was.
Then we
was
went back to my
first,
place. Then we went fishing again.
Yeah.
Okay, and what
so
happened there, Yelma?
so we did what we did on Monday, and
Yeah.
So we got to the we're a little bit more lively today. No, the jet lag's gone. Well, Aldo's zany, but you know, whatever. So
No, I'm like full insane.
Yeah.
I'm fully insane at this point.
yeah, and we're at the same stretch of water.
Yeah.
The very first night behind Joel's house, and Joel's in front of me, and I'm like, Joel, can I low hole you? And he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna get out soon. And then he casted, one last cast, and he got a hit, and he's like, oh, I think that was a fish. I'm like, yeah, okay, buddy, get out of my way. And
Pick up the camera, bud.
yeah,
All right,
I-
get out of here.
And then
Yeah.
I took my rod and I literally went exactly where he was, and I swung at the same length that he was swinging.
Yeah.
And as soon as the fly line started to mend and straighten out, I got a hit, and it was a bull trout. And I fought a bull trout for about 2 minutes, and I yelled, Aldo, help! Aldo ran over. And
I was
You
already
hooked a bull?
I was already running up the river. I was like, yeah, I heard you, man.
yeah, it's
coming.
exactly what he said.
coming.
Actually, he's like, "Yeah, I'm coming." And
You hooked
Yeah.
a bull? You hooked a bull trout.
yeah.
yeah, I hooked the
Wow.
He got it to hand.
dude.
He got it. They landed it.
Yeah.
What?
Aldo landed it for me, and we got tons of.
You guys
photos
landed
and-
it?
and
I
pictures.
tailed that motherfucker.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
tailed
What?
he tailed it.
it. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
How did I not hear about this? That's amazing.
Well, I did. I sent you a picture and I said, Yilma caught a bull trout. And then
I
you s-
didn't see that.
Memories.
Congratulated.
Never
me,
mind,
Mitch.
Yelma. I still got the memory thing, man.
Mitch, you said, fucking right on, Yilma. Like, you
Yeah, you
literally
did, you
responded to
did.
the photo.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so
You
full
have no memory
disclosure.
of that at all?
Full disclosure, I did not actually read any of that or look at the photos. I think I just said, "Wow, that's amazing," and just like, "Wow, that's crazy."
Wow, that's
you know?
crazy.
Well, I guess it's also
man.
like 11 p.m. at your time when we were catching that fish. So
Yeah,
you're
that's
probably
yeah.
asleep.
I think I just ignored it. I didn't even register you caught a bull. That's freaking awesome.
I
dude.
was
Yeah,
pretty nervous
yeah.
tailing it. I mean, it was nice, probably like 18-inch beautiful fish. And like
Yeah.
the cool thing about, everything I've seen about Yilma's, if you're watching this on YouTube, Yilma's showing the picture on his phone. If you're,
Yeah.
Everything I've seen about bull trout has been
Yeah.
from the interior. And they're colored up and they're very brown and kind of char-like and they've got the French manicure kind of thing, like brookies do. This one was like the same color as the water, like glacial, very very silver's the wrong word, but like gray, purpley, and it has red spots. And I was like, this
Wow.
is not what I thought a bull trout looked like.
Yeah.
Some of them get really dark. Like we get green ones as well with like yellow spots. And,
So cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's really, really cool. Wow. Nice.
So
well,
that's
great.
That was
You
great.
hooked up. You landed a fish, and it was a bull, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
That's a first. So, for
That's
us,
a first.
that's cool.
So that was a really nice way to end that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
And that was technically like our first fishing
For a full day, our first
yeah,
full
our
day
first
fishing.
full day.
Yeah.
So we knew that we had one more day in Squamish after that. So we were
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fully ignore. Sorry, I'm looking at the picture now, and I fully ignored this picture. That is so cool. That's a nice fish, Yilma. Nicely done, dude. Wow, congratulations. That's so
Thank you.
exciting.
Actually,
I was
we
hoping
should-
that would happen.
We need to make one note here.
Yeah.
We can't show it because it's a secret. But our buddy Nick Kuchmick at Selmographer, who's done a couple trips with us now, tied
Yeah.
that fly
Oh yeah.
and gave it to
Oh,
Joel.
cool.
Yeah.
And Joel was like, Yilma, I think you should use this.
Yeah, he tied them for browns and I met him in White River and was like,
He's like,
"You
I
should
think
take
this will
it.
work
Try
for
this
bulls.
for a bull when
Yeah.
you get home."
And he was
that's what you
fucking
did.
100% right. And also,
Bingo.
it's like October 12th.
Thanks,
Nick
Nick.
just went to Fernie.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to see pictures of crazy bull trout, you should go look at his page because they caught a crazy amount
Some
of bull trout
bulls.
in Fernie.
What's his ad again?
At
It's,
Salmographer.
Salmographer, yeah. So check that out. Yeah, Nick, I was following along. I was like, oh, cool, Nick's out there, and he was roping them.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks Nick for the fly. Yilma, good job, and then that was day 2 and day 3. We met up with a guide, Yos, and
Yeah.
we floated the Squamish, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Learned
Yeah.
a lot from Yos, and
That's gonna be a heck of a beautiful float too, eh?
oh yeah,
It's pretty cool.
Cool scenery.
And Yost has been fishing the river for a really long time, and he's just a wealth of knowledge. But like, I think we all kind of knew what we were up against going into the day of fishing.
Right.
You know,
saw a lot of seals.
saw a lot of seals.
Cool.
Saw
Liver's fish.
ran into a few rolling pods, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And like, I wish there was more to recap because
Yeah.
it was a fun day, but
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to tell. We floated the river. We didn't catch anything. We saw a lot of beautiful stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it was really
Yeah.
cool for me because I had never floated that section of the river before, and there's a lot of it that you just like as a bank fisherman or even just
Yeah.
a pedestrian walking, like you can't get there.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So we kind of like put in basically where I live and
At
then
Fisherman's Park, yeah.
floated down to basically to the estuary where like right around the corner from where we pulled out it becomes like brackish water. So that was sort of like the
Cool.
end of
Yeah.
the Squamish, which really beautiful. Saw lots of cool stuff.
Saw a lot of
unfortunately.
seals. Saw a lot of bald eagles.
Yeah, and like
That's cool.
maybe segue, like we also received a text message like halfway through the day with salmon closures on the island. So like we
Right.
knew we were facing tough fishing here and we really wanted some Pacific salmon, and we were like, okay, well, I have a friend on the island who is catching some fish on his local rivers. And so we kind of were tentatively toying with the idea of going
Going
for
out
a
there.
super early morning ferry the next day.
Yeah.
And then halfway through that day as well, British Columbia closed salmon fishing all over all over
Wow.
Vancouver Island
All over Vancouver
until
Island, yeah.
further notice, because they're also experiencing a drought and low water.
Wow. And it's still closed right now.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah, as of
Dang.
So you can fish
October
the
12th.
ocean, but
Yeah.
just freshwater salmon fishing's closed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks, but it is cool. I mean, talking about like brackish water and stuff like that, it's like so different from what we do out here. It's like
Yeah.
cool. It's like, oh yeah, the ocean.
The
You're
ocean.
fishing ocean run fish.
Yeah.
Just being in that river, the energy of that is cool. So
yeah, a lot
But,
of
yeah,
life.
too bad.
A lot of life.
Yeah.
in that river.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
So what do we do?
it's cool.
So,
So it's a change of plans, right?
big-
can't go to the
big pivot. Couldn't go to the island, so I guess everybody's sick of that word pivot.
Yeah.
But change of
Switch
plans, and we Matt from Fishing BC lives in Kamloops.
okay.
And he was like, Fishing BC, Yilma's hat, Joel's hat,
Yeah.
Fishing BC.
Joel's hat.
So Matt's like, was also scrambling. He's like, fuck, we got to, these guys have a couple days left in BC. Let's show them something special. Why don't you guys come to Kamloops? I got you a floated, I've talked to some guides in Clearwater.
Yeah.
And we've got you booked on a float in Clearwater. So
Cool.
the next day, which I guess would have been technically would be our 4th day there, but the 3rd day of the shoot. So let's just call it day 4 anyway. And we drove. We took the Duffy Highway, which is like basically the mountain pass. So you go, through Whistler, Pemberton, and then through the mountains, and then you end up in Kamloops, and which was an unreal drive. And then we were gonna be staying at Sun Peaks ski resort in a condo there, so that was cool. And then, oh god, there's a lot to unpack from that drive, but
There is.
but that was the plan. We're going to shift focus to trout. That's basically what I'm telling.
So
what I'm
it's
saying.
the area you went to. Is that known as the interior? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the interior. So those lakes and things like that are
Yeah.
the interior lakes.
Yeah,
And they've just full of trout.
there's the Kootenays and the Chilcotin Range and the Caribou Range. It's like I still don't really know how it all works, but I know there's the Caribou
Different areas.
Yeah, but that's the interior, sort of central
Okay.
BC, and I'm on the south coast, so you drive up the coast and go over the big pass, and then cut eastward into the interior.
Oh, that's cool.
And it looks exactly like Montana.
It's crazy beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks.
It's all, yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me. After we got through the mountain pass, it was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is just Craig, Montana.
Ranches.
Right.
It's like cattle ranches. It's there's still forest, but it's like that kind of sparsy type forest with yellow grass and big
Yeah.
rivers like the Thompson, and it was just like I was like, my brain was all scrambled. I was like, this looks like Alberta or the Ennis River Valley, or
Right.
around or the Missouri River Valley.
Kind of not how you expected, that
Yeah, like
area
Squamish is
to look like in your
exactly
head.
how I expected BC to look like.
Yeah.
Right.
And
like an
this was
extension of,
nothing like that.
Like Oregon
Yeah, that's cool.
and coast and what
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were
Wow, that's
driving. We were driving, and we drove over a stream, and I was like, "Joel, slow down."
Yeah,
And
this
I
was
thank you
early
for
in the
that.
day, though. This was
Yeah.
before getting over the mountain, so we were up high.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
And Aldo was like, "Can we just?"
you were just like, I was like, "Slow down," and I think you both thought I saw something in the road, like
Yeah.
why are you going so fast? You're like,
Yeah.
Joel's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, man." I'm like, "No, no." I'm like, "We just drove over a fucking awesome looking river. Why don't you go fish?
Let's go have a look.
Let's
Yeah.
go have a look." Hey, Yilma?
Yeah.
Yes. And we did.
And did you fish
Oh, do
it?
you want me to tell the story?
Yeah, fuck yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Okay, I can tell the story. Yeah, so we parked. Aldo got the Trailblazer set up. I got the GoPro set up. No waiters. We're just going in to see if we could catch something or seeing what
Or just in our jeans.
just exploring. Yeah, we're just in our
Nice.
jeans. I got
Jeans and Blundstones.
my Nikes on,
Nice.
Bloodstones.
Nikes. Yeah.
Yeah, and we get
Nice.
to the nice little Freestone River, and Aldo started to cast in this little pool, and first cast he got a hit, came off, and we didn't know what it was, but it was shiny and beautiful. And then a couple more casts, we're filming, we're excited. Oh my god! Let me tell you, this is like,
One of
like
the
if someone
most beautiful
filmed on
streams I've
this
ever seen in my
river.
life.
Yeah, it's like the quintessential, fly fishing river. It's like if you would paint someone fly fishing and show the art and the beauty of what is fly fishing. This is the river, and
It
then
would be like this.
yeah,
It's pretty beautiful, yeah.
and you can't
Pocket water, clear,
Yeah.
clear.
clear.
You would love it, Mitch.
like
It's like any
It's
kind of fly
clearer-
fishing art you've seen on
Yeah.
line boxes or like stickers. It's like that's what they're recreating.
The-
that scene.
Pretty
The
pretty
wa-
much, yeah.
Yeah.
we're like, oh, it's gin clear water. No, it was clearer than gin clear water. That's
Yeah.
not clear.
It's like air.
It's air.
Yeah.
So and then Aldo,
Yeah.
eventually he got into a nice pocket and pulled out the most stunning, brightly colored rainbow out of the water.
Mountain rainbow.
Yeah,
Never
mountain
seen a rainbow look like that before. Covered in spots. Like I've never.
Wow.
It was really really cool.
And this is just off the road. You're just like, let's go fish that, and you just jump down there
drove
and
over
catch
the
a
For
fish.
bridge.
first cat,
like,
yeah, I
ooh,
was like,
look at that.
I don't know, I'm gonna put on a chubby Chernobyl and
See what
see
happens.
what
Is that
happens.
the? Oh no, that fly. That fly was not the moment you were talking about. I missed my temporally confused for a second. There's a
Hey,
there's
yeah,
a
fair
fly
enough,
story to tell coming up, a very cool one.
Oh, sick. Okay. Well, that's the kind of like what you're talking about is how I think about BC, like how I've always thought about it. And that's why we all dream about going there. Cause it's like you said earlier, Yilma, the place to go fly fishing. Cause you can just park your car and it's like, hey, there's a river and catch a beautiful trout, like,
Well,
it's awesome.
Like this was like pocket water. So you picture boulders and stuff, and like, like nice little slow moving water just behind boulders. You could spend all day there. Just like you take 1 or 2 casts behind a boulder, move to the next boulder, move to the next one, You can, like I said, we all said it. I could spend all day here, but obviously we had to get to Kamloops, so we only spent 10 minutes there. But
this is like started really feeling like a fishing trip for me at this point.
Gotcha.
That's a good point. Yeah,
we were all drinking coffees in the car and just popping out, looking at rivers, and
we.
That's cool.
The first cast was like a fish came up and hit the fly. And I was like, okay. And then a couple casts later, we had one in the net. And I was like, all right. Okay, let's keep going. And I think it was a cool moment for, Joel was like, that was only about a 2-hour drive from your house.
Yeah, shorter if we don't stop for
we still stop for hot dogs in Pemberton. But, and, that's a nice little trout stream you can fish on hoppers in the summer. That sounds awesome.
Like
to me.
it just opened my eyes to a whole new fishery that I can explore. That's not too far from home.
God, for real, man. And rivers like
cool.
that. That's cool. That's awesome. Probably find some pretty nice. There's probably bulls in there too, wouldn't there be? Maybe.
Bullish.
It's really long. Like it's a big river, so I think the different parts of it.
Gotcha.
I honestly have no idea. Like I said, it's all new to me there. So
cool. Well, there you go. Lots to explore. So then you hop back in the car, you eat some hot dogs, you get to Kamloops.
Yeah, we ate some tacos.
Picked up the Watermaster.
Picked up a Watermaster. Matt gave us a Watermaster because there was only one boat with the guides. Yeah. And so I was going to follow in the Watermaster, and which is fine by me. And got to our little condo, Yilma.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the beautiful ski chalet.
What's this condo?
In
sweet.
Fun Peaks.
Yeah, that's right.
It took us
now, may I ask you, did you have a hot tub?
Well, yes, we did. It was a ski chalet. Like we didn't use a hot tub, but
come on,
we didn't have time, Mitch. We were working, but
it's the reason why people come.
You guys got a hot tub right there.
It's the other reason why people come to BC to ski, and then stay at these lodges. They're just beautiful, and this condo was great. Sun Peaks is gorgeous and so well kept and everything.
Gorgeous.
So
well kept.
I left thinking I'm definitely gonna do like a winter trip up here and go skiing and stay here, and that's how really nice it is.
Yeah,
I don't see why you wouldn't. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool, sweet. So you had some good digs, and it's feeling like a fishing trip. You're getting into some fish, and then you hit the lakes. You hit the back lakes.
What? No, we hit clear water first.
Thanks for listening.
Wait, what did you do then? What we got?
Yeah, you're cool. Go pee-pee. Joel's going pee-pee.
Oh, Joel's got to take a pee.
No, we the first day was so we were going to spend 2 days in the Kamloops area. So the first day we drove, we like you said, we got to our condo. We slept one night. We woke up and drove to Clearwater, which is about an hour from Kamloops. We went to the Little Fort fly shop on the way, which that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. Very quaint. One sort of room, like a 700 square foot fly shop.
Oh, cool! So small. That's awesome.
It was awesome. And then we bought some flies and met our guides. I met our guides in Clearwater. Dayton and Elia. And Elia runs the company. Dayton was going to be our guide today, but Elia was doing the shuttle kind of thing. And, we got to the Clearwater, and dude, you looked exactly like the Blackfoot. Exactly like the Blackfoot. And, and it was a little bit bigger, a floatable section of it, clear blue water, big boulders. And this was rainbows and bull trout.
Oh, baby.
And, a beautiful old drift boat. And we got to floating.
Dayton is amazing.
That's awesome.
One of my favorite guys.
Yeah.
One of my favorite guys.
Can't say enough.
Yeah.
Oh God, Dayton's so amazing.
Yeah,
He's
he was
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
great fella.
Anybody wants to book with Dayton, book with Dayton. Like he's fantastic.
Yeah, we'll put the link in the
Clearwater.
show notes for sure because those guys are great.
Awesome. Sweet. So it was a fun float.
It was beautiful. What did I miss?
Oh no, we just started talking about the float. Like we just
Oh,
met up
yeah.
with Dayton and yeah.
Copy. Yeah, what a wildly pretty river.
What the hell are you laughing about,
Am I
Yilma?
missing-
No one sings like a
missing
joker
something
over
here,
there.
Yilma?
Sorry, it's just
Yeah, but you're laughing over
Joel's so
there,
cute.
eh?
He just came in, It was just a funny moment. Thanks, Joel. I miss you already.
Thanks, Yilma.
I like that, the look of the Blackfoot. So you guys got into fish that day, huh?
Yes, we
Take me
did.
through the day.
Mitch.
What happened on this float? Come on.
Well, it was a pretty short float, to be honest. Like, I think I had connected with Elia on the way up.
Yeah.
Was it the day? Yeah, that day. And he kind of suggested we fish later in the day as the fishery tends to not produce in the morning.
Right.
So we met a little bit later in the day. We kind of had like a little bit over a half day. I wouldn't call it a half day, a little bit more. So it's a relatively short stretch of river to drift in that amount of time. Like I'm not super experienced in drifting, but that seemed like we really kind of took our
Pretty
time
quick.
in certain. Yeah, like you could have done it pretty quick if you like the one drift I did.
Yeah.
Like we didn't stop very often. It was just like you drift
Yeah.
by spots and you cast and you're just constantly moving. This was like
Yeah.
a few of those
Let's
and
take
then
our
a lot of
time.
like,
Yeah, we
okay,
anchored
this
up a
is a
bunch.
pool I really like, or this is a section I
Okay,
like.
cool.
So we'd anchor up and fish some spots.
That's cool.
And I think you guys both got into fish, right? I think both of you got a few.
Yilma's getting into more fish than I was, but I was fishing behind you guys, so that kind of makes sense. And I wouldn't say the fish were super active. The peak season is July and August,
Right.
but they
Okay.
were just enjoying. Like we were saying, it's been hotter, which is a bad thing for the salmon, but the trout were still on, which is
Yeah.
cool, and they were eating dries, which is also cool.
Sweet.
And caddis were hatching, and that was cool.
Wild trout, right?
Yeah, wild trout. Everything's wild, and actually should be noted, native,
Yeah.
which is cool. Like,
Yeah.
rainbows are native to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah,
a
yeah,
native
yeah,
strain of
right.
rainbows. So
cool.
Yeah.
that's really, really, really cool. And yeah, Yilma got a couple fish. I got like a fish halfway through the day, and it was just a beautiful friggin' day
Yeah.
on the water. Like I
awesome.
don't know what else to say.
I
Like,
mean,
it
that
was-
last.
Wait,
fish
wait.
you nailed
Yeah,
was
let's
pretty
talk about the
special.
last. Yeah, let's talk about the last. I mean,
Yeah,
we all
that fish
we,
that was pretty crazy.
What's this last fish I keep hearing so much about, huh?
From my point of view, across the river,
Yeah.
that was a pretty wild fish.
wait. Can I say something?
So we're
first?
like at the okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
I just wanted to
Yeah, that's
set this up all the free because we're being guided,
Set the stage.
but
Text.
but I love it when we're taking the information from the guide and then applying it in our own sort of way. So Aldo took a moment to step back, take all the information from the guide, and like fish based on what the guide was telling him to do
Great point.
afterward. You know what I mean? So it's like a learned experience. And
Right.
then he's like, okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to go off on my own for a little sec, and then fish, and then boom. I just love that.
Yeah. I think Dayton even mentioned that. He was like, oh, Aldo likes exploring. Look at him go.
Well, I mean, like remember, guys, like I'm in a one-person water
in your
master.
own
I can
boat,
get to parts of the river that you guys can't.
Yep.
So I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm going to row into little nooks and crannies that you guys really can't.
The elbows.
And
Yeah.
this is just the soft water, and I was there's like bait fish moving around, and I was pretty hard up on trying to get a bull trout that whole day because I really wanted to catch a bull trout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen, and that's fine. And but I was in the soft water, and I saw bait fish moving around, so I was like, maybe there's a bull trout harassing them,
Yeah.
And but then I kind of gave up on that and just started drifting a gigantic chubby Chernobyl over it, like a size 2, because I was like,
Yeah.
we weren't really having much luck on the elk hair caddises anymore. It's pretty late in the day now. Like the sun's behind the mountains. It's like 5:36.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if something's going to come up for something, it's going to come up for something big. And is what I thought. And so I put on this huge chirp that I bought at the fly shop earlier that morning. I was like, oh, I like the look of this.
This is the cool fly story
And-
I talked about before.
I drifted through this really slow part of the water, the foam line, and then I got nosed, like jaws coming after a fly.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, fuck, that's a big fish. And I was like,
Yeah.
shit, was that my one chance, you know? And, you know,
Yeah.
gave it, let it chill out for a second or two, make two more casts, and it doesn't come back, and I'm like, fuck. And like the slow water's over this riffle and rapid, and the guys are kind of, you know, they've finished their fish through the slow section, and this was like, it's anchors up, and we're going home after this kind of thing.
Right.
And well, I mean, after a 45-minute paddle, but you know, whatever. But like, it's anchors up, and we're gonna, you know, start rowing, you know,
Yeah.
and to the takeout, and it was like that last cast, baby. And got that drift, and these guys are they've already anchored up, and they're moving their way into the run. And as they're kind of going at the same speed of the fly,
Oh, nice.
and the fucking thing, the fish just eats. And I was like, oh shit! And I set the hook, and the fish goes airborne, dude. Like this fish spent more time in the air than in the water during this fight. Actually,
We have
it
the
jumped
footage to
10
prove it.
or 11 times.
Awesome.
I was like, I'm losing to this fish for sure. I'm in the Watermaster,
Barbless
right?
hooks.
Like the Watermaster is a belly boat at this point,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, the big boulders and rocks. I'm like, I'm trying to keep the fish from going into the run, because I was like, if this thing goes into the run, it's over for me, right? And like, you know, I'm on
They'll
the
speed away.
they'll speed away. I'm on a drag. I'm on like the click drag reel, the zero, which I've actually really come to love.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't have the stopping power. I just have that. I'm just palming it with my hand, like it's 1962, and like,
Hell yeah.
which I love actually. I kind of like that. And this
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, this fish decided to go upstream into the slow stuff, and I was like, thank God. And then like I was just like slipping all over the place. At one time, I had like the line in my mouth to keep the tension on. It was like a shit show. It was a total shit show, and like, and the things. And BC is barbless. The whole province is barbless.
Awesome. That's
So,
great.
which is
That's
cool.
really
Single
good.
barbless. So, like, this fish has jumped 10 times. I'm like, I'm losing this fish for sure. And then, you know, it came to the net, and we got it in. It was just like this beautiful 18-inch kind of bow, and all colored up. And
Wow.
that was a really special moment. I thought that was really cool. I was like freaking out.
And you landed the fish, man.
Landed the
Despite
watching
all,
it.
you know.
Despite all that, and, you know, the guys landed the boat, and Joel got his shots, and we rode home and got some A&Ws.
Awesome.
That was it.
Yeah,
Heck
exactly.
yeah. That's a good day too.
We did good.
Jeez, that's awesome. That's a great moment to have.
Yeah, it was nice.
Catching a beautiful native big bow on a river like that, you know, like the buzzer beater fish. You know, it's
It
great.
was a beaut. I just actually looked at the footage. And it's like, that's a big fish.
Pretty
It's
cool.
Really nice
It's a
fish.
pretty fish. Yeah, it was a beautiful
Oh,
fish.
sweet.
Real nice.
Amazing.
So yeah, big thanks to Dayton, Elia. They're really cool. I think their business is called, and we'll put it in the show notes, but Clearwater Drift,
Yeah.
because you're drifting the
Cool.
Clearwater.
I think they're the only outfit in Clearwater.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it looks like Montana? It fishes like Montana, except for there aren't 25 other drift boats on the water. You're the only one. So
It's cool.
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Yeah, that's dope. That's sick. Sweet. Okay, that's a good day. Okay, next day, what do we do, baby?
That was
Is
the
this the
lake
day?
day. That's the lake day.
This is the day you go into the lake.
Yes.
So
So I think we knew
Where-
there
yeah.
was some bad weather coming.
Yeah.
And so Matt had, set something up for us. So we didn't even know at this point, like on our way home, what we were doing the next day. It was kind of all just what's going to happen. And then Matt was like, let's go up to the lakes. I had been up there in the springtime for ice out. And it's beautiful up there. It's a really, really rough road. So we all drove up to Kamloops, met there at Tim Hortons, and we hopped in Matt's truck. All of us, 3 boats, all the gear, piled in the pit
Toyota
boat.
Tacoma.
because you need Tacoma to run that road.
You
That road was pretty
definitely
rough.
need a 4-wheel drive with clearance to get where we went.
Or it's
Wow,
like a
cool.
side-by-side or something.
Or a
like your dad
side-by-side
has, Mitch.
ATV, yeah.
Right.
Side by each.
Yeah, went up to check out a sneaky lake up high in one of the mountains.
Sweet.
And then
So I've always dreamt of fishing these interior lakes.
Have
After I
you?
saw, because I saw this. We talked about it a couple times on the show. This show that was on TV back in the day called Hooked with this guy named Mark Krupa, who's like an actor, and he had this fly fishing show where he went to these really beautiful places, and one of the places was the interior lakes in BC, where he's just like catching trout. It looked exactly like kind of lake you guys were fishing on. You know, that these kind of just circular bowls of water with just like a bunch of trout and surrounded by kind of mountains.
Yeah.
And he's just like kicking around in a little float tube, just like just nailing bows. And I was like,
so many lakes in Kamloops. It's crazy.
yeah, it looks so cool. Like, so, you know, what was the fishing like that day?
I'll let the anglers.
But it was
Yilma?
amazing. Oh yeah, I can go. Yeah, it was. Yeah, no,
I can go if you want me to go.
I can.
Yeah, Mitch, what was the fishing like?
Yeah, Mitch. I actually kind of want to hear Mitch. What was
Honestly, the fishing that day just confused the shit out of everybody. The fishing that day was amazing, man. That was my favorite day, personally.
Yeah, it was good.
Wait, was Mitch on the
It
trip?
was, yeah. It was a really good day. It was a really good day.
Yeah, we got the Water Masters.
Send me some shots, Mitch.
Please.
We were all in Water Masters. I was in. Aldo and I were in Kodiaks, right? And Joel and Matt were in the. Oh my god! Let me see if I can get this. I don't remember the name, but the big one, the
Bruin.
Bruin,
baby.
which is
The
awesome.
2-seater Watermaster.
Yeah, the 2-seater Water Master,
Yeah.
and
Good camera boat.
great camera
Yeah.
boat. Because it was a good day, and we got out. We got out, and Matt told us to fish the shoreline. There's a little drop off that goes like all the way down from the side of the lake all the way into this bay. So Aldo and I did that, and yes, Joel.
I was gonna say context. The clock is ticking because we know there's a storm coming. Also.
Oh, so you guys are
yes.
trying to beat this weather.
Yeah, windstorm, not like a rainstorm, just like.
I heard about that. Actually, I saw that in the forecast. It was like severe windstorm alerts for BC. I was like, I wonder if that's bugging the guys. And sure enough, there it was.
I
That's awesome.
apologize for interrupting, but
No, interrupt away.
No.
This is called Soulfly Interrupting Podcast, so it's all good. So yeah,
Oh, sick joke.
That was awesome.
I don't know. Yeah.
I just stopped for a sec. That was amazing.
Oh,
Check-
awesome.
was-
Awesome. We're using it. We're kind of indicating.
that's great.
This is our first. Oh, just let me know when I can talk.
Yeah, you have internet lag, Yilma, so just go for
I'll
it.
go for
baby.
it. Okay. So we, this is the first time, one of the first few times, we don't like fish for trout ever. So with fly rods. So this is something that's sort of unique, and it's another new experience, which is lovely. So we were using indicators, and then from the indicator to the fly, and it's a very small woolly bugger with egg sucking leech pattern. It's size what size?
It's a vamp
14.
leech. It's called a vamp leech.
Oh, it's the
Yeah,
vamp
the
leech.
vamp leech is
Oh,
an
the vamp
awesome
leech.
pattern.
Yeah. So I should have said that. Sorry, I even knew that. Yeah,
Like a stillwater fly, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's a
that's a stillwater kind
yeah,
of pattern.
exactly.
Yeah.
stillwater fly, the vamp leech. So yeah, and it was about
Chef's kiss.
it's about 7 to 8 feet from the strike indicator, and yeah, we started casting. I took Aldo and I are casting. I cast it into the ledge, and then as soon as it hit, I did a little twitch, and then boom, right away a huge rainbow.
First cast.
First cast, and
Awesome. Wicked.
yeah, and then I'm like, okay,
Good feeling.
it's gonna be a great day, and it was because we I had lost 2, caught 2, and Aldo lost 25, caught 10. That's a good.
Aldo had a big day.
Aldo had a huge
That's a good day.
It was awesome. You know what it reminded me of?
How many hours were you out
Like
for?
4 hours.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
What did it remind you of, Yilma?
Oh, it just reminded me of the time in Tulum with all 3 of us when the fish were just on, and it was
that's a
just like
good
every cast. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Our first trip together.
Last time you guys all fished together, too.
Yeah, it was in
Yeah.
Mexico in 2019. Yeah, wow.
19?
Time flies.
18?
2019. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, great day. Like Yilma said, Stillwater trout fishing is. So
What were we saying?
Yilma's point is awesome because it's like, yeah, we don't stillwater fish very often, for trout. Sorry, so it's a totally different game. It's more about the way you fish is you find the depth. It's not so much finding structure; it's about finding where they're holding, right? And so we kind of cracked that. I didn't change my fly once, and I think what Matt was saying was, he had pre-fished the lake a couple days ago, and it was really hard to catch fish. and for whatever reason. But he said today, we got there was actually 2 other gentlemen on the lake, and we could see them hooking up. And he's like, okay, well, and Yilma's first cast was a hookup. And he's like, okay, well, that's a good sign. It means they're feeding. Because at this time of year, Matt was explaining to us that, they kind of put on the feed bag before winter comes along, and everything's so late.
They're stocking up.
Everything's so late because of the hot weather that, he was worried that, that's what was messing them all up. But we didn't have a problem that day. And maybe it was because that front was moving in. They were just like, okay, let's eat. Something's happening, but it was a fun day. And those fish were big and feisty, and it was great. And that
beefy rainbows,
and the drive-in was quite the adventure, and it was a really good way to finish the trip. Lots of fish.
I love it. Joel, what was your favorite part of the whole trip and the whole experience, and actually finally getting to do all this? I can go again if you want me to go.
What was your favorite part of the trip?
Was,
No, I think my favorite part is just. I was saying, I think I said it to you. Oh no, I said it to Rob last night. I was just saying, it's really fun to have friends come and visit me that are interested in the things that I'm interested in.
Sure.
I've had a lot of great friends come and visit, but it's fun. But to have Aldo and Yilma come and see them get excited how close I live to the river, in a different way. Be like, oh my god, you get to fish here. It's really fun to share that with people who appreciate it. Like I do.
Totally.
And show them some places I really like.
Joel.
Yeah.
Imagine if Adis showed up. He would not leave, my friend.
Yeah. That'd be okay.
This is also the climbing, too. Yeah,
this is the climbing, too. I mean,
I just got to get his butt out there.
Chipping away at him for a while, but it's hard. Yeah. It's hard.
Got to get out there. I think that feels very Idis-like land, Yeah, I mean, he's downstairs right now. I can
just give him a little stomp for me.
Give him a little stomp through the floor.
What time is it?
I love it. And that's another thing to mention, too. You guys saw Rob from Drift last night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
He's just in town.
Cooked us up a feast.
Yeah, we took him to the river, and, back to Joel's point, he said the same thing. He's like, oh, my God, this is your backyard.
It's pretty cool.
And then he cooked up. He got some when he landed in Vancouver. He went to the fish market and bought some king prawns. Have you ever seen a king prawn?
Mega prawn.
A mega prawn.
They're big.
It's like this
mega
big.
Prawn?
Yeah, they're like
what?
It's like
a lobster.
Yeah,
it was like almost like a mini lobster tail. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So he cooked you guys up some
we had
steak and
turf
and turf.
Roasties.
Surf and turf and last
Rob
night.
is such a good
Man.
boy.
Yeah, that's cool. You just bumped into Rob in Squamish.
I mean, we'd been texting, but yeah, totally.
He just saw him at the pub.
Yeah, we're just like, what are you doing
Airbnb
here?
2 blocks away from my house, and was like, okay, come on over.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
We'll actually probably fish with him tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Because he's got a couple of buddies here, and he's fishing with them today. So I'll be interested to know how their day went.
Yeah, I texted him. He didn't get back to me yet.
Well, hopefully.
That must mean good.
Yeah.
They're still
Good
out.
things, baby.
Good things.
Aldo, what was your favorite part of this whole trip? And Yelma, get ready, because this question's coming right at you next. Oh, well, look at him go.
He's like scrambling, writing things down. I mean, this was my first time to BC. So just seeing everything.
Beautiful. Nice.
Was
done.
pretty cool. It's
British Columbia.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Oh, man, that was
I had to do it. I
sick.
had to drop it.
Sick.
Thank you.
But definitely, if I'm gonna have to say something, not to Joel, not to knock Squamish or anything, but going into the interior and having it transform into that desert plains kind of look and feel was something I really wasn't expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really
cool. Cool.
eye-opening and unique. I didn't know it. I grew up skiing, so I know what Sun Peaks is. I've seen pictures of Sun Peaks, but I didn't realize that that's what it looked like when there wasn't snow.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So that was really, really cool. And the Clearwater River was like I would just come back, if it was not for migratory fish, I would just go. They said peak season is late July and all of August for hoppers. I would just go fish the Clearwater every friggin' day and stay in Clearwater because it's a cute little town. And
that's cool.
It's very Craig, Montana vibes.
I would do that with you.
and I would
get
just
a
do that and
camper.
fish that every day. Or
Sounds like that's the next trip, fellas, and I'm going to be on that.
yeah,
Let's get some,
or I would do. I mean, I've got to come back and catch a coho for
Yeah,
sure. That
yeah.
like let's this trip was really 2 trips and 2
Yeah,
types of
it was.
trips of 2 different types of things you can do for sure.
Yeah.
So definitely, I would love to come back when things are better and get after some salmon because
Oh, yeah.
obviously that
Oh,
is
God.
unreal.
I would love
But-
to do that.
As a trout trip,
Yeah.
working your way, towards Clearwater or something like fishing those little streams on the highway and camping, that would be really fun.
that was a blast.
Or literally just going to Clearwater and fishing the Clearwater every day would just be great.
You
I
could
would-
fly into Kamloops from Toronto.
Oh, well then there
Be
you go.
there in an hour. And a half. Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
Dang. There you go.
So yeah, I think being surprised by the landscape was the standout moment for me of
Yeah,
the
it's
interior.
in BC.
Yeah.
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 Yilma,
I mean,
favorite thing about the whole trip now, baby?
that's like asking me what my favorite color is, or my favorite music, or my favorite movie.
It's not burnt sienna.
Yeah, and Queen.
Sagebrush Green.
And we all know your favorite movie is
Little Mermaid.
P.S. I Love You. Right? P.S. I Love You? Is that your favorite movie? Look at him. He's asleep. He fell asleep.
He fell asleep just thinking about the movie P.S. I Love You.
Well, that is such a man. Probably my favorite actually was when Aldo caught that trout, that buzzer beater trout. I think that was my favorite
Yeah,
moment.
it was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That sounds
It's
awesome.
like I said, we had like prime spectator seats for this whole.
I can't wait to see that footage
This is
because I know,
just-
like, out of this, you're going to be cutting some stuff, Joel, right? Put it on the old interweb so people are going to be able to see some of the
Yeah.
things we're talking about here today.
Yeah,
Amazing.
It'll probably not be
Excited
for
to see
a
that.
very long time, but
Yeah, take a little break on that footy, but stay tuned because in the future we're gonna have some cool moments. Aldo catching this rainbow, it's gonna be cool.
I like. I saw that eat on that fish we're talking about right now. It was so cool. It was-
Oh yeah, that's like right next to the boat like that and seeing it happen. You must have been freaking. That's
But I also-
love
I
that.
freaked. I was like,
I also
Oh,
did like
actually, I have another favorite moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Sorry, you want to go ahead? Yilma?
No, you go first. You're my pal. You go first.
The last day on the lake, Matt and I were kind of like scooting around trying to find like a nice shot of. Anyway, we find the shot, line it up, and like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there, and I say like out loud, I'm just like, "Hook up now." I'm like rolling, and the audio's good, and Aldo's just like, "Yep." And
Oh,
it's fucking like
sick.
the indicator's down, and then the fish jump. Like he'll tell you the story of the fish jumping like over there because the indicator's over there. But I'm like,
Right.
I'm rolling, and I can hear him like he looks so confused, and he's just like, "Is that the fish? Is that the fish I'm
Yeah.
fighting over there?" And it was just like, because like it
Awesome.
timed out really well to get a great shot, but also because of Aldo's like just utter confusion. Like the indicator over here, the fish over here. It was really
it was
cool.
really weird. Yeah, we're like in that back bay that Yilma mentioned, like where the lake kind of leads you into. And
Yeah.
these guys are like coming straight at me with the fucking camera, like in my face.
Yeah.
So like it's like
Yeah.
me,
Dog.
the indicator, and then their boat.
Yeah.
Right? And I heard Matt say, "How great would it be if you hooked up right now?" And then the second that sentence ended,
realize
the
you could hear
bobber
that.
went down,
Yeah.
and
That's
I
awesome.
set the hook. I was like, "Yep."
It was a sick like sideways set. Too.
Yeah, and
Sick, yeah.
and like Joel said, the fish was in the air, and the indicator was in the water,
Weird.
and kind of like to the the fish was off to the right, and I was like, "Is that?"
What's happening
I was like,
here?
and I'm still on, right? So I'm like, "Is that
Yeah.
the fish?"
Yeah.
And then the indicator flies out of the water, and I was like, "No, that is
Right.
the fish." I was like, "Okay,
Just like a
that's
weird
my fish."
Physics.
It was like-
the physics of the line
and-
was just trippy.
And
Yeah.
it's super weird too because Joel and I were just casually talking about it's like we were talking about salmon fishing in general, and I was talking about like this one time, one of the fish I hooked up in the Gas Bay, the same kind of thing happened. Like you hook the fish, it's already 30 feet up like the river because they're so strong and fast, and in the air before your line's even out of the water, and you're like, wait a
Right.
minute, is that the? And then that exact thing that was a pretty
Weird.
interesting moment. Yeah.
That's cool.
That was a
That's
big
dope. I'm
fish, too.
excited to see that.
Yeah, that was a big
That was a
fish.
good fish.
And it was just a really
You,
funny
you
moment.
landed that?
Yeah,
You landed
yeah,
that
yeah.
one?
Yeah.
That was the one
Oh,
I sent
sick,
the picture
man.
of.
Oh, dope. Yeah. Awesome.
Fat boy.
I
The
love it.
big thick boy.
That's so funny. Yilma, what was the other thing you were going to say before we wrap up another episode?
I liked casting into those cliffs. That one cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
On
very
the check.
Yeah, on the check. It was a very romantic scene, and I was casting very well. All three of us were, and we were fishing hard, and it was just gorgeous, and didn't really want to leave.
Yeah.
Like you're just fishing like this giant rock face that went straight into the water.
Yeah. And you just
Correct.
see fish.
That's cool.
Yep. Like a nice bend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, well, I sent you that picture of the water, Mitch. Like it's sky blue, and
Oh, it's amazing.
salmon
color.
are jumping all over the place, and you're just like, okay,
Why
this is
don't
pretty
you
sick.
want to fly?
Yeah.
It's just like,
I love it.
please, something, just eat something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, please, but
Yeah.
visibility was so tough.
Yep.
Jeez. Well, I mean, you know what? All in all, fellas, it sounds like it was one heck of a trip that you were able to successfully execute, and with all the curveballs thrown at you with the salmon and the drought and all the other stuff. But I mean, in a way, it's kind of cool because you got to see all kinds of parts of British
Yeah,
Columbia,
totally.
and
Yeah.
especially as a first
It was a real
trip,
trip.
it's kind of a cool way to do it. So I feel like I was there with you, and
Wish
with
you
all the
were.
stories I've heard
Yeah,
today.
wish
Really
you
wish
were.
you were.
I've never been to BC. I can't wait to go, and
Well, I
yeah, I kind of wanted my first time to be with you guys too, so I'm kind of bummed. But you know what?
I'm already
Stoked
talking to
to
Matt
go.
about
Coming back
what
next
you're
year,
coming to do
baby.
next time. So
Man, if we should try salmon next year, and that would be sick. I would love to swing
You're
for
the-
salmon
you're
on
the
these
swing-
Squamish,
swinging-
rivers.
you're the
Squamish will
swing
be
daddy,
a pink year next year. So if we time it right, we could do like a lot of Pacific species in one trip.
That would be sick. Let's do it. I'm down.
It's specifically, Chase specifically.
Specifically.
I'm gonna keep a week free in October. Let's just do it. Come on.
Cool.
Well, fantastic episode, everybody, and everybody at home. Thank you so much for listening. You can see all the show notes. We'll have kind of all the links we were talking about throughout the episode in there. And as always, go to YouTube to watch us talk because we did a lot of stupid shit while we were talking with our arms, and you can see us being crazy.
And you
and
can see the
wacky.
flies we were using.
The flies we're using throughout because they've got them right here, and those crazy coho flies
So
that I
much
would never
color.
have expected.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a fantastic another little chit chat here. You guys enjoy the rest of your time out in BC. I'll see you when you get back here because it's steelhead time, and I'm not
Oh,
dicking
mama.
around.
Oh, mama.
All right,
We got some.
we're getting a bunch of rain tonight. We're gonna get the fish, and they're gonna come in the river,
Oh.
and we're gonna go catch them.
Oh.
It's on.
Oh.
Fish on. Fish on, baby.
I always kind of like, yeah, the October long weekend is always my little okay, now I got to start thinking about these fish coming in the river. So that's
Yeah,
what this
yeah,
time of
it's-
year means to me for sure.
Cool.
It's swinging time, and the gear is dusted off, and Idis has been sending me all kinds of photos of him swinging
Yeah,
flies
holy
with milkweed.
moly.
And I don't know what the hell he's doing down there, but
He's losing his mind.
he's using
underneath
plants. He's
With milkweed?
The vegan tire.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. He saw someone tie like an old pattern with a milkweed wing, and it looks pretty cool. And he found some at the park. I don't know what he was. The other day, he was just down at the park collecting milkweed, and he came home and used it to tie flies, and they look pretty good.
I love
It's
this man.
he was just on a Tuesday, walking around in rubber boots looking for milkweed, and he was turning them into fishing flies, and he's gonna swing them
Wouldn't
for
they deteriorate
deteriorate
over
right?
time though?
Yeah.
That's a plant. I don't know. That's what I asked him, and he's like, I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. And I was like, okay.
Short window.
And so we're gonna
Solid
swing
Adis
milkweed.
impression.
Yeah, that was.
It's like a farmer.
Well,
I
we're
know.
gonna find out.
Find out.
Well, he's tying flies with milkweed, guys. Okay, that's what he sounds like now. But it's steelhead time, so get prepped. And everybody at home, thank you so much for listening. That's it for me, Mitch. Aldo.
Yeah, thanks for everybody listening, and thanks to Matt at Fishing BC, and thanks to our guides Yos and Dayton, and Jill at the Fly Shop, and obviously most importantly, thanks Joel for hosting us because we've been
Thanks for coming.
upending your life. We're sleeping in your beds, we're using your bathroom, camera stuff all over
Eating
the
my
place,
mini
fishing
wheats.
stuff all over the place, eating your mini wheats, yeah. So thank you, man. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Joel.
Thanks for coming, guys.
And Yilma.
Bye. Thanks, BC.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.